Welcome to Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Shawne and Tracy, where warmth, wisdom, and community come together. Just like a good meal shared with loved ones, our podcast brings heartfelt conversations with incredible people who are making a difference.
We spotlight community leaders, change makers, and everyday heroes who uplift, encourage, and support those around them. Grab a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and join us as we share inspiring stories, real talk, and a whole lot of love. Because when we come together, we nourish more than just our bodies, we feed our souls. Okay.
It's all right.
Welcome, my podcast listeners, to Tea and Cornbread. I'm Tracy.
I'm Shawne.
We are back with everyone, hopefully bringing you some education, some knowledge, and just some good old talk.
Yes. I'm so excited.
I know.
I'm so excited because today we haven't been like this in a couple of times, right? I mean, we're a little.
We've been missing.
Yeah, we're a little behind in our recording, but we back on track,
We
y'all.
back on track.
We back on track.
So the first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn it over to Shawne. We're gonna do our breathing.
Yes.
So we just gonna get back on track on our usual scheduled program.
All right. we just having a little fun today. So I'm breathing with rosemary today.
And I have clarity.
Clarity is like our favorite, our go-to. Mm-hmm. But rosemary, the benefits of rosemary is it's great for hair loss. All right. It's great for, it's antibacterial, antiparasitic. It's one of the combinations, I call it, for the what'd you call it?
Anti-inflammatory?
Yes. Okay. And it's great for the brain.
Nice.
You know, so for focusing, so especially if you are a person that's foggy all the time, to inhale it like we're doing, the breathing techniques that we're doing, to use that on a regular basis. Clarity, too. Clarity is more potent because it has other oils in it. But rosemary, I like the smell of rosemary by itself today. That's why I'm using it. All right, so we're going to inhale through our nose like we always do. Hold it for 4 seconds. And what you're doing is inhaling your intent for the day. And we're inhaling our intent for today's talk and conversation and to calm our nerves. And then we're going to exhale all that doesn't serve us, whatever's making us nervous. And when you're doing it yourself, exhale whatever doesn't serve you. All right?
Okay.
All right. Inhale through the nose. And if you're a person that has respiratory issues, you want to open up your lungs, you bring your elbows all the way up when you're inhaling. And what that does is expands the lungs and brings more oxygen into them. And it also strengthens the lungs. So if you're a person that's always dealing with congestion or short of breath, breathing techniques are going to be really great for you because it will strengthen your lungs and you'll realize that you're not out of breath as often.
Okay.
All right.
I have a question. You said all the benefits of this, you put this in your diffuser also, not just doing the breathing techniques.
Right.
This is not one of the ones that is you can put in your tea or in
It
water.
is.
It is?
You
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Good to
you
know.
can. It's medicinal. You can use it for your recipes.
Okay.
Instead of the herb, you can you take just a toothpick. It's so potent, just a toothpick.
Okay.
And put it through there and put it in your sauce or whatever you're going to do, or, to season, or put it in your seasoning for like meat or anything like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
See? Good
Absolutely.
to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll move into Jesus' calling. I feel like these glasses might come off later. And they are, and this is weird, I know. I can't read with these glasses
I'm the same
on.
way. I can't read with my glasses.
Come to me with empty hands and an open heart, ready to receive abundant blessings. I know the depths and the breadth of your neediness. Your life path has been difficult, draining you of strength. Come to me for your nurture. Let me fill you up with my presence, I in you and you in me. My power flows most freely into weak ones aware of their need for me. Flattering steps of dependence are not flattering steps of dependence are not a lack of faith. They are links to my presence. Remember, we
Amen.
always say put him first, and he
Mm-hmm.
knows all things.
Yes.
And don't forget, you can go to him
You sure
no
can.
matter what.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always need to go when we need something, but we should go to him every day anyway.
Anyway,
So,
as part of your daily routine,
yes,
just like we
yes.
brush our teeth,
Mm-hmm.
we talk to Jesus.
Thank you.
There you go. One time my mother said, Jesus is tired of me going to him with my problems. I
Never,
said, never.
never.
Exactly. I said, what are you talking about? I said, did you pray? She's like, Jesus is tired of me
No,
praying about my problems.
not at all.
Mm-mm-mm.
So, what you do this weekend?
We had our first annual owners
Yes.
meeting yesterday, and it was amazing
Nice.
for the co-op, North End Co-op. If you want to join us, go to northendcoop.com. So northendcoop.com if you want to know more information about the North End Co-op grocery store that's going to be coming to the north end of Waterbury.
How many members do you have?
We have 25 members. Yay!
Oh,
Yay!
nice.
Yes,
We
we
gotta
have
make it 26.
Listen, no, we're gonna make it 100.
No, I was saying me. That's
Oh
what I
yeah,
meant.
okay, there we
That's what
go.
I meant.
All right, we're gonna make it 100. We need
Mm.
500 really
We
to
gonna
get
make it.
started.
You're gonna get there. You're
Yes,
gonna get there definitely.
but
So
yeah, it was great. It
nice.
was great. We had our new, our member owners. That's what they're called. They're owners. So they're owners of the co-op. So we
Okay.
had our first annual meeting with them.
Nice.
And it was great because we were able to explain more
Mm-hmm.
about the back workings of what we're doing and how we're doing it, and opening up the doors. Like, if you want to jump on in, come on in, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? In any capacity. And yeah, it was great.
Good.
It
I'm
was
glad to
great.
hear it.
What I was excited about, and I know people think I'm crazy, right?
Do
So we
tell.
we give out seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we
Mm-hmm.
do our events and things like that, we give out seeds, right? And we give out seeds for growing food, growing your own food.
Yes.
So this time for the owners, what we did is we gave them a grow bag,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if anybody's familiar with them. I wasn't really familiar with them, but it's a grow bag where you can actually grow something in it, right? And it's felt. It's like a felt material.
So it starts off in the house and then you transport it
If you want
outside,
to,
or
whatever
okay,
way you want to do it.
okay,
You know what I mean? Whatever way you want to do it. And we gave them that. We gave them a little seed starter
yeah,
kit that looks like a little incubator type
okay.
of, with the top and everything. And what else did we give them? A hat. I should have worn my hat today. A hat, and what else did we give them? Oh, the pins and all that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're gonna get a T-shirt too because we need to get their sizes. So we're gonna do a T-shirt. But that was great because it's like, okay, now there's a way we're helping people think about growing at least one thing, right? And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I want to do a garden swap.
So people start
Food
growing
swap.
stuff. I grow cucumbers, you grow tomatoes.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
okay.
we swap,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have salad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
There you
saying? We
go.
find somebody else to grow lettuce or
Yeah.
whatever, because then you can grow an abundance if you're only growing a couple of things and not trying to do a whole
Everything at
garden
one
of
time.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested, let me know. Because yeah, that's one of the things I wanna try to get going.
It's
But
gonna
we
be good to see how it progresses, how people take the grow bags that you gave them
right.
and start planting and seeing. Hopefully they get back to you with pictures and
Right,
with
and
the
we
stuff that
that's what
they.
we asked them to do. Yes. And also May 10th, if you're interested, we're doing it's called Nurture by Nature
Okay.
Garden Program. And it's going to be at Nest, the Loving Care Garden on Burton Street. I
And
don't
May
know the
10th is Saturday.
it's a Saturday. May 10th from 11 to 1. There's a farmer that maintains the garden that's going to teach us all aspects of growing your own food. And we're going to be able to grow it right there in the garden or in your own garden, whichever way you want to do it, or both.
Hmm.
But if you're interested, come down May 10th at 11 o'clock on Burton Street. Don't ask me the name. You can't miss it, though, if you go on Burton
Yeah,
Street.
it's the
You
only
can't miss it. It's in the
one up
middle of
there.
Burton Street. It's a garden, and it's open to the public. We're trying to get the people that live close in
Within
proximity
them,
to be
yeah.
part of it also. But if you want to be part of our Nurture by Nature garden program, come on down on May 10th. It's orientation, so you can hear all the information about it. The farmer's going to teach everything that we
Who's the
need.
farmer? Did you say?
His name is Jonathan. I don't know his last
Oh,
name.
okay.
His name is Jonathan, but he is the garden coordinator for Love and Care Garden in Waterbury. So,
Cool.
if you are interested in learning how to grow your own food, come on down on May 10th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's for adults. I mean, you could bring your kids. We're not kicking the kids out, but it's for adults and families.
She's
You
not gonna
know,
kick your child
yeah,
out.
not at all. If it's for adults and families, so we are really super excited about that because everybody keeps asking, well, how do you do this? And I don't know how to pair this with that. This young man, oh my goodness, when I tell you,
Is he local?
he is local. Yes, he
Okay.
lives in Waterbury.
Nice.
I don't think he's from Waterbury, but lives in Waterbury. But just in conversation with him, he was throwing just if you did this, you do this, and you know what I mean. He was just going on, and it was simple.
Okay.
It didn't seem hard. Some of the things that he talked about. So yeah, come on down, May 10th.
Nice.
May
Nice.
10th.
Nice.
What
Nice.
else do we have going? We got Seeds Planting Seeds going.
Hmm.
That is a program for kids.
Four kids.
Yes, and that's happening May 17th, I think it is. We'll have it in the caption. I'll make sure I confirm that.
Okay.
I got the
Time frame?
flyer in the doggone car. Um, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I think it's 10
Okay.
o'clock. So I'll get that information. Look for it in the, and I apologize because I don't have the flyer in front of me.
Okay.
And then our farm stands are starting. Our farm
Woohoo.
stands are starting May 4th at on Pearl Street at Bonner Park. It's called. It's directly across
Too
the
much stuff
street.
upstairs. You got a lot
Yeah,
of information.
it's directly across the street from AME Church. We will have whatever's in season. We don't have a list of what we're going to have yet because we won't know until we talk to the farmers.
Okay.
The farmers are
just
ready for
that's
our
next
order.
Sunday.
That's next week.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
And get
next
ready
week.
because usually when they have their farm stands, they sell out of
We
stuff
sell out.
very, very fast. And I'm
Especially
not
when
being
we're
funny.
there. Yeah, when we're in that area. Yeah, so come on out. We get some fresh local produce at a minimal price.
Yeah.
And if you want to join the co-op at that time, you could do that too, or sign up for any of the events that we got going on.
Cool.
All right, all right. So
Oh,
yeah,
she
so I was
busy.
excited. I
She
was
was
excited.
busy.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Awesome.
Yes, awesome. What did you do?
Yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Oh, I went to and I don't know the name of the program that was down at,
The walk with docs.
yes,
Yes.
I didn't walk with Docs, but
Okay.
the after program, it was at Deneen Fryer's facility. We went back there, which was part of Walking with Docs. Girl Track was there. Black Women United was there. I love how those organizations come together and kind of unite and do things with each other.
That
I,
was about the stroke.
it was about
Strokes.
stroke,
Yeah.
yes, and
Okay.
it
Women.
was
Women. Specifically, women and
yes,
strokes.
yes,
Right.
and it was very interesting because one of the young ladies that came down there and spoke was only 35 years old,
Mm.
and she went through, what her symptom was, and she didn't realize what was happening to her, that she could not speak until she spoke and nothing came out her mouth. She
Mm.
was speaking, no words were coming out,
Wow.
and somebody looked at her and said, not to tell her story completely because I don't want to tell it out of order, but whoever she walked up to, whatever she said, they said, "Do you need help?" And it just started from there. But
Mm.
it was a plethora of information, and there was a nurse that runs the program down at St. Mary. She was there. Another young lady was there that worked down there, and it was just information of us just taking care of our body. There are signs, but when it happens, there's a window that we need to get help and get certain medications into our body so they can reverse what's going on.
Mhm.
So she talked about the program that's down there, and it's just a point of us getting up every day if we're doing nothing but walking for 30 minutes. And I
To
don't
get
mean you
that
have
blood
to go
flow.
to the gym.
Yeah.
Go walk around your block. Stand in front of your TV or reading a book and walk for 30 minutes
Yeah.
before you know it's done. Your lunch break, get up from your desk. And I made myself a promise that that's what I was going to start doing because one of the things I do is sit in front of my desk eating my lunch. So
Mm.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
working, not
Yeah.
working. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
So you got to kind of push back and just take time for yourself.
Mhm.
30 minutes a day, they say, really makes a big difference. And it was about women. It's about women of color because we have the highest ratio where
Mm-hmm.
this is happening to us. So it was, the questions were good, the information was good. I think it was recorded. It is probably out there on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
If I know Arlinda, and she had those,
Right.
her son down there, and then the other young man, and they are so respectful and decent taking pictures. So they did a good job. But it was a
Nice.
lot of information. Arlinda and Nada, my aunt, had me do a little warm up.
Oh, don't do your
Skip.
face like that.
Yes. Yeah.
She is
I know.
she is a
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I said that. Before we started.
Hold
no,
on.
I'm not. I don't even know what she's gonna say, but I ain't.
Hold on. This woman is a gym rat. She's been in the gym for how many years?
But I am. But you know what? When the focus gets on you, you get nervous when all.
Of course you get nervous.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we know that you can guide somebody because I can't go out there and go,
Baby steps.
let's do this, let's do that.
Baby
'Cause
steps.
ask me when the last time I was in the gym. But
yeah.
so stop it, right?
No, I was just gonna say we did the warm up. I think I did 5 minutes, and then Kissy did 5 minutes, which was good. The women all participated, which was lovely. I love to see when give it what you can, and just whatever you're tired and you need to sit down, do that. Nobody's judging.
Exactly.
No judgment.
You do it at your own pace.
You do it at your own pace. So yeah,
as long as you're doing it.
Say
long
it
as
again.
you're doing it.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. As long as you're doing it. So
And
that's what I did yesterday.
Good.
And
That
then
sounds
hung out
good.
with,
I'm sorry. We were in our meeting, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyway.
Then I hung out with how do I say it? My niece daughters.
Okay. Your
My
grandnieces.
daughters.
Your
No,
grandniece.
my sister's kids. They my road
Oh, your
dogs.
daughter. Oh, your
Yeah,
niece
my
daughters. Yeah,
yeah.
daughters, nieces. Your
Yeah.
niece daughters. Yeah, I get it now.
They came
Yeah.
over and we hung out and
Nice.
just enjoyed the evening. Did
yeah.
nothing,
Just chill.
hooked up the Netflix and just
There you
sat
go.
there, talked, laughed, and okay, now it's time.
You
to
got
go.
to do that.
Now it's time to go.
Right? You got to do that.
I'm
You
like,
got
I
to
gotta
stay
get up in the
connected.
morning. I gotta get up in the morning. They're like, it's 6:00. I'm like, so what? I need to get to sleep.
Yeah, auntie,
But listen,
auntie turns into a pumpkin early.
Yes, they ain't pay no attention to me. But yeah, all
Awesome.
good things. All good things.
Yeah. So when you're talking about, like you said, coming from behind your desk and whatever, when I tell people, I said, listen, put your favorite song on and dance.
So that's it.
Long
as
if
you're
you're
moving.
old school, our songs were 5 minutes long.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not too, but if you have a playlist, put your playlist on and just dance. But
Just
dance
dance.
like you in the
Dance
house.
like nobody's watching.
Exactly.
Because I don't know how to dance. So
Exactly. But you get the adrenaline going, you get your
Mhm.
blood flow going.
Mhm.
If you're not a person that, because people go, I don't have time, my lunch is only 30 minutes or whatever that is, then there's no excuse. You can put everybody likes music,
Yeah.
right? Everybody likes music. I challenge you to make a playlist and dance to that playlist. And it doesn't matter how many minutes it is.
Right.
Just dance
get
to
your
that
blood flowing.
playlist, right?
Yep.
Get up and dance to that playlist. Put an alarm on so that you can get in the habit of it. If you put that alarm on every day for whatever time it's going to be, to just stop for 10 minutes or less or 5 minutes or whatever time you have, even if it's a minute.
Yeah.
A minute is a long time when you're
Yeah.
counting it. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
why you don't count
try
it.
to
Don't
d-
pay attention. Go
Yeah.
as far as you could go.
If
And then next time you say, oh, well, I did it only a minute. Let me try to
Right.
go a minute and 30 or a minute and 15. So
I
don't
didn't
think
realize
about
a minute was long until we was
Jumping?
jumping double dutch. We
Look,
had to jump
now
for a minute.
that's
We
a long
never
time.
jumped a whole.
Yeah,
I mean, well, I
that's-
shouldn't say never. We got
Yeah.
to a point where we jumped a minute,
it. Yeah.
but it took a long time to
It
get
did.
there.
I think it's because of the concentration of that 60 seconds, Don't think about it. We
By
can't
the
think
30
about
seconds,
it. Just
we're
do
like,
it.
"Ah,
How much longer?"
time? How much time we got? Oh my goodness, who got the timer?
Oh, we going to do another contest.
Okay.
Did I tell you?
No, you
no,
did not.
I just told you. Yeah, we're going to do another contest. So we got to get practicing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I miss
we
y'all.
love
I
double
miss y'all. It's
dutch.
been crazy for me on Wednesdays, but it's
We
okay.
love
I'm
double dutch.
coming back. I'm coming
and
back.
and even though you may not be there, you still should be jumping.
You're right. Absolutely.
still
Well,
be
I
jumping.
do dance though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, and I dance like hard. I'm a little crazy, because and like this morning I did.
Okay.
This morning I got out the bed and I'm dancing to
Just doing your
to my
happy
own
dance.
music. I didn't have nothing on. I'm dancing to the
That's
bathroom.
lovely.
And you know what I mean? And then
That's
even yesterday
awesome.
during the meeting, they had the music on. I'm in
And
the
you over
back,
there dancing.
and
That's good.
Tanya was like, could you turn that down?
Oh no.
Can you turn that down. I
No
was like, oh,
way.
all right.
No,
But
you
yeah,
gotta
just
enjoy
you have
yourself.
to just move.
Enjoy
That's it.
yourself.
Just move. Even if you're not a person that can stand, you got a lot of people that have knee
Right.
problems,
Right.
hip problems, and they
Mhm.
always say, I can't stand long, I can't walk long, or whatever. But in your chair, you could dance
Move
in your
those
chair.
arms, lift those legs up. You don't have to
Yes.
do high.
Yes.
You could do minimal movements.
Exactly.
Minimal
And you could
movements.
do it in your chair,
Hmm.
and then you'll find the more you do it, the more your range is,
Yes.
and then you'll realize, wait a minute, I'm standing up.
Hmm.
Or wait a minute, I wasn't able to kick my foot that
Hmm.
that high before, or I wasn't able to put my arm up that high before.
Exactly.
You know,
Every
you
little bit counts.
yeah,
Every little bit
yeah, and it
counts.
gets that blood flowing. That's why more people are, heart attacks and strokes are the highest, at the top of
Yeah.
deaths.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
was kind of brings me back to what they were talking about yesterday and just knowing your numbers. And we did a segment on that too. Know what your numbers are because that's very, very important
yeah,
too. You
yeah,
know, I feel good, I look good, but if your numbers are out of whack, that's contributing to your health.
absolutely.
So know your numbers,
Know your
blood pressure,
numbers, yeah,
cholesterol,
and
all that kind of stuff.
and if you're not a water drinker,
Mm-hmm.
please force yourself to drink water,
Okay.
because we start off with coffee in the morning. What am I saying? In the
Morning.
morning, it's dehydrating,
Mm-hmm.
and so it restricts blood flow. Just so,
Some people
just one
drink
thing.
like tons
Two
of
and
coffee
three in the
throughout the day.
morning,
Yeah.
yeah, or yeah.
Yeah.
You start off with that. Don't start off with that. Start off with lemon water with cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is really great, but I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole because that's
No.
not what our topic is today.
No, our topic
But if you want to
today.
know more, you
Yeah,
can
go
reach
ahead.
out to 50 the podcast at
Yes.
gmail.com if you want to know more, or
Hmm.
you can go to my website at newpathwellnessgroup.com and join our email list. Join my email list and you'll get some information. You'll be surprised. Yeah,
Yeah.
get some information. I have some freebies
There you
on there.
go.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, don't
Nope.
apologize. We're not doing that.
Okay.
Our topic today is going to be about marriage.
Mm.
Where are you in your life? Okay, it's going to be crazy because people are like, oh, she's already married. I was married before too, but I was listening to a podcast and I thought it to be very interesting. Um, the older we get, when we're not married, when we're single, doing our own thing, do you still think about marriage? And you being married, what do you say about marriage? Like if you knew what you knew 10 years ago, 20, you've been married how many years? I apologize.
17 years or
20
the
years
same.
ago.
We
Yeah.
got married the same
Right,
year.
right.
Hmm.
What do you think about marriage? And I found it to be very interesting. And this is why I say that because are we still having those conversations about marriage with your girlfriends, with your guy friends? Does it come up at, and I'll say our age because the people that I were listening to, they were an older generation. And I found it to be interesting because the young man that was doing the podcast, he wants to be married, but not right now because life has him taking care of his mom, has him working. So he in reality doesn't have time for a
The energy or
relationship.
relationship to put the energy
Yes.
into a relationship.
Yes. So what do you think about marriage? Because they're saying now 2024, 25, I think 2024, marriage is at an all-time high for divorce is at an all-time high
Mm.
where I can't
I
remember
thought
the
it was
year.
always high.
You thought it was always high.
Mhm.
Yeah. And maybe it was and I just didn't pay attention to it. So thoughts on marriage and I'll start. I got married late in life. I did, and I always thought I would never be married because that was not.
On your radar?
It wasn't.
Mhm.
It really wasn't. You know what I mean? And now, don't get me wrong. When I say that I didn't want to be married, it doesn't mean I didn't want to be in a relationship.
Mhm.
But that relationship wasn't that I needed somebody
To be
underneath my
married to.
roof.
Right, right, right.
You know what I mean? Living in the same space that I was in.
Mhm.
I really didn't think about getting married. And had Timothy not asked me to be married, I don't think I would have approached the situation with him. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying?
Mhm, mhm.
So, what do I think about marriage now? Would I do it now today? No.
Mm.
Am I saying that because I haven't found that person?
Mm.
No. Let me
Mhm.
say why. Because I still don't want anybody in my space right now. Like I
Mm.
truly know that I don't. And I'll say this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I think when I first got married to Timothy, it was odd. We didn't live together prior to us getting married. And when I tell people that, they're like, "What? You never? We never lived together until we got married." So when we got married and he moved into my house, big adjustment,
Mm-hmm.
huge adjustment. And I may have already said this. I know I've said this to Shawne. I went to Miss Johnson and said, "Well, do you think?" I swear I did, and it's crazy, but you think he could still stay here? And I could.
It's funny.
She looked at me like I was crazy, but marriage is lovely. I'm not saying that it's not, but you gotta be ready for what comes next. And somebody's gonna say, "Well, maybe you don't find your person, or you haven't found your person yet." I don't think so.
You're
I
not
mean,
supposed to find them, actually.
well, he's supposed
We're
to find
supposed to
me.
be found.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I think now today,
Okay.
no, that doesn't mean again. I'm not taking myself out of the loop.
Listen.
Just don't come and don't lose your house.
Listen. Let
I
me
hope I
tell
didn't
you.
scare nobody off. Like I'm not
Right.
trying to scare
No,
nobody
I mean,
off.
but you're telling your truth,
I
right?
hope I didn't scare nobody
But the
off.
funny part is when I got married again, this is my second marriage, right? And when I got married again, before I got married again, before I even met Elliot, I shouldn't say before I met him, but when when I knew I was gonna be divorced,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I said, it'd be great if I get married again or ever get married again. They live in their place and I live in mine.
Yes.
I used to say it all the time. And when we got married, I moved in a month later.
See,
I didn't even move in right
right
away.
away.
I didn't. And it wasn't, it was just, I just
There was
didn't.
no rush for
Right.
it.
There was no rush. But the crazy part is, I still believe that,
Yeah.
because who is it? Shirley Ralph. That's from Waterbury,
Mhm.
right? That's from
Mhm.
Waterbury. We say that all the time, but it's the truth. Um, she and her husband been married and been together more than 20 years, and they don't live together. They live on the opposite coast. And she was just talking about it recently,
Yeah.
and I think especially at this age, I don't say especially at this age. I guess it depends on who you are, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter what age. It depends on who you are. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do,
It's nothing
because
wrong with it.
it's nothing wrong with it. And if
it.
anything, it's like you appreciate that
Person
person
a
when
little
you
bit
see,
more.
yeah, when you
Yeah.
see them, when you haven't seen them,
Yeah.
and
When you
you
miss them, you gotta
right
miss them.
when you miss them, you appreciate them
Yeah.
more, and as this age right now, let me tell you, I tell people all the time, I want to downsize to a tiny house.
Oh yeah. She
And
been saying that for
for
years.
years, right? And it has nothing to do with I don't want to live with my husband type of
Right.
thing,
Right.
right? It's just I just want a small space. I just
Mhm.
and it has nothing to do with my husband.
Right.
And it's not that
Right.
he wouldn't be there or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's it,
You could
right?
downsize and be happy.
Yeah, yeah. And even with marriage, I didn't aspire to be married when I was a kid. I knew I wanted two kids and they had to have the same father.
Mhm.
That was the
Mhm.
most of it. We did end up getting married, and he was my high school sweetheart and all of that, right? And and I always say I don't regret marrying him, and I don't regret divorcing him.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And people just grow. They grow
Right.
differently.
Right.
Everybody grows differently. Whether you grow stronger together or not, I don't know. I was listening to something this morning. The guy was saying about your kids, right? He was saying, it's not that you favor your kids. He says when you have kids at different stages in life,
Mhm.
he says your
Yes.
your marriage can be at a different stage when you have by the time you have your second child, or he was just talking about that. He was just like, your relationship and things like that. So the way you are affectionate with your child or the stage that you're in life,
Mhm.
your child feels it. It's not that you love one more than you
Right.
do the other.
Right.
It's like having one at a teenager. You're a teenager. You
Mhm.
don't
You're
know
still
what the
learning. You don't
yeah.
even know.
So that
Yeah.
child is growing up with you,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
then that second child, now you're an adult, and that second child is getting a mother,
Right.
and he's like,
You got to figure it out a little bit more. You know the
right.
do's and the don'ts.
But when you're married, I feel that same way about your marriage. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Your marriage
It goes through
changes,
stages.
goes through stages. Sometimes you work through it.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like a deal breaker.
Right.
Sometimes you get tired. Sometimes that's why I say I didn't regret marrying them, didn't regret divorcing them. And then now when I was open to dating,
Mm-hmm.
right? I hated being in the dating world. Oh, I hated it.
You found it to be rough?
I found it to be a mess. Not it was rough. It's like men, to me, this is my experience, right? When you see a toddler, like my grandson right now is a toddler, right? And he acts up sometimes. A man at 40 do the same thing. It's, to me, that's my experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we talked about this. It's like, be real, because if you don't if you want to date other people, if you want to do
Yes.
this or what do,
Yes.
be real.
Oh,
You don't have to marry
communicate.
nobody.
Exactly.
And if you're gonna marry somebody and still want to live like you single and
Yeah.
having mistresses or whatever you want to call them, side chicks or whatever, that's just unnecessary. When
Right.
you're an adult,
Yeah.
say it.
When you're
You
an
know what I'm
adult,
saying? Because give
that's
me the
it.
choice to
Yes.
say, you know what? Yeah, we can
I'm
still do
down
this.
or I'm not.
Exactly.
Because yeah.
Exactly.
And I
And you
think that's a
definitely
big,
don't have to live with that person.
yeah. No. And communication is key.
Absolutely.
Communication is, and if we're not being committed to each other, like Shawne said, and you want an open relationship, tell me.
Just say it.
You can't be the
We
only
can,
one in the open relationship,
ex-
and I'm over here dedicated to
exactly.
you. This is where things get
Absolutely.
messy.
That's when it gets messy.
And
And
that's
you
both. But we're
lying
not
for
saying just
no
men. That we're not.
reason.
It's both sides, men or women. And I know women. I have a friend that has plenty of male friends. I'm not mad at her.
Right.
You are a woman of a certain age. And the only thing I did say to her, just like we're talking right now, I said, do they know? Do the other
Right.
men know about each
Right.
other? She, no. Oh, girl, no. I said, that's the problem.
That's the problem. But it's done on a regular basis,
yeah,
right?
but that's the problem. We don't want it done
Right.
to us.
And
So we
as an
shouldn't be doing
adult,
that. But do
my
your
thing
thing. I'm
is
happy she.
right.
Wish I could do that.
Yeah, you see what I'm
I
saying?
do. I wish I could do that.
Exactly. See,
And I'm not
same
saying
here.
there's anything
But
wrong
it's not
with that.
in our
Just
it's
being,
not in our
yeah,
DNA to do
yeah.
it, right?
I just can't see myself,
Everywhere.
and
I call it
especially at
that.
this age. I'm saying at my age, I'm a woman of a certain age, and there's certain things I just don't want to do right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want that one-on-one. I don't want to. Tonight's John, tomorrow's Tom. I don't
Right.
want that. I
Right.
don't want. But do you if you can?
But I know women and I know men that are like open like that, right?
Yeah.
I know somebody, I won't say who it is, but they tell somebody in a minute, yes, I'm dating other women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dating other women, this, that, and the other. And, so if you down with it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, and I say to them sometimes, I'm living vicariously through you. I do. I did. I did. You know what I mean? But I
Yes.
laugh, because that's not my nature.
It's not.
That's just not my nature. And, but when you think about life, right?
Mhm.
And you look at people, we always look at others and be like, oh, that seems so this, that. No, I'm not interested in being everywhere. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
I never was. I never was. That's why I said I didn't like dating. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I did not like
Yeah.
dating. I didn't like it. But when Elliot and I started dating, it was fresh. It was,
Something new,
yeah,
something different
and
right
we
now.
we
Yeah.
enjoyed each other's
Mhm.
company, and it wasn't about intimacy. It was intimate, but not sex. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It
Mhm.
wasn't about sex. It wasn't about any of that. And we were grown.
Right.
We were grown. And it's funny because I said to my kids, when I turn 40, I'm just gonna go rogue. I'm gonna. I told them, I said, I'm a go to Oklahoma and strip
Yeah. Okay.
at 40. My kids was
She gonna
like,
be in jail in
they
Oklahoma
said,
too.
right? My kids were like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "When I turn 40, you all will be old enough for me not to embarrass you." I said, I had a name and
Well,
everything.
you
I
know
was
what?
going,
If that's what you want to do,
right.
do it. And that's all we're saying. Whatever.
But I ended up getting married instead.
Yeah.
I never did it.
If y'all hear her going to Oklahoma, we know what she's going
we
to
know
do.
it.
We know what she's going to do.
No, but seriously, when you think about things like, how would you live your life,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't regret any of my experiences
Right.
because
No.
you grow from them.
That's what I was getting
You
ready to say. You
learn a
learn.
lesson,
Yes.
right? And I have a lot of mothers in my life. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so one of my mothers, God rest her soul, she's no longer here, but she used to keep me like, girl, shut
Keep
up,
you in
right?
check.
Yeah. And one day she said, when I was your age, she said, I didn't want no man that wasn't married.
Wow. Because there
Right.
was no commitment there, though.
Exactly.
That's why she
Exactly.
wanted that,
She
though.
says, when they came over, they came over. I
And
had
when they
my
went
time.
home,
And when they went home, I was
that was,
all right.
and she
And
was
I
okay
stayed
with
out of
that.
their way. She's like, I don't know if
Oh,
the wife ever knew.
wow.
She said, I don't know. And when she said it, I swear it hit me in my gut. She said, I don't know if the wife ever knew.
Yeah.
She said, but that's how I was.
Yeah.
And she says, and when they wanted to act like they want to leave their wife, I was like, no, no, no.
Not,
Nope,
yeah.
this is over. I
See,
said,
I
really?
don't know how to turn it off and turn it on. I'm not mad at her, and I get what she's saying because there is no commitment. Because I think that's how the other side thinks too. That's why they do what they do. There's no commitment to me. There's no commitment to you. I'm going home to my wife, and maybe that household is okay with that, as long as both parties knows, and that's I don't know, to
Yeah,
marry
and
or not to marry, and I don't even know what that
I
looks like
believe,
for.
but I believe in marriage. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
do. I do believe in marriage. I know there's ups and downs. I know
Oh,
there's,
it's definitely work.
yeah, I believe in marriage and I know there's ups and downs, right? At the same time, it's like you still got to be happy
Right,
as an individual.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? And when we are trying to make another person happy, you can't. And
Well,
when
or
that
when we
person
think
is
when
trying to
that,
make you happy, you
yeah,
can't.
that's what I was gonna
You
say.
are responsible for your happiness.
Yeah,
And that's how I live.
that's a
I'm responsible,
misconception, though.
right?
That's a
I
misconception.
am
I'm gonna marry
responsible.
John because he makes me so
No.
happy, and
Mm-mm.
that can't be.
No. I'm responsible for my happiness and
Exactly.
I protect my peace.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I protect my peace. I'm responsible for my happiness.
yeah,
And I don't let anybody I don't care who it is. I don't let anybody break that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, as you
And my
shouldn't,
husband knows
though.
that
As you
because he
shouldn't.
gets a little frustrated with me sometimes because I'll go, all right, I'll see you later then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or whatever it is,
yeah,
right? And but I'm being real.
yeah.
When I got to that point, it took me a while to
hmm
get here though.
hmm
It took me a while to get
But
here.
just like you said, you learn your lessons and you learn the do's and the don'ts as you progress, as you grow with somebody,
Yeah.
as you learn somebody and they learn you.
Yeah.
Another thing that came out of the podcast, they were talking about people that may have lived together for 10 years. They decide to get married
And
and
then
they get divorced.
yeah, that's
What
crazy.
changes? And people always say that piece of paper changed. No, you
No, you
changed.
change
Something
the
inside that relationship
mentality.
changed.
Yeah.
But what
Because
is it and why?
I don't
How
know.
can I have been with you for 10 years? Soon as we get married, they're getting a divorce.
Yeah,
And they say that
soon
happens a
after.
lot.
If
You
you
know,
if we, we'd like to have
a
a
person up here
conversation.
that
Yeah,
actually
conversation
happened to.
that because I am curious about that too. You know what I mean?
Right. What
Because
change? Do you
you
stop
have
talking
you've
to each
been
other? Is
living
the
with each other
communication gone?
forever. You have children. You
Yes.
built a life together, and then you
Mm-hmm.
decide, you know what? Let's just do this, right? And then you
You
divorce.
divorce.
I just
What
want to know
happens in
why.
that relationship
Yeah,
to where it broke down to where I loved you yesterday, today let's not.
right. I don't think it's even love though. You don't really lose the love. You know what I'm saying? Because when you love somebody, right?
Yeah,
But
but
to a
what
certain
what
extent,
made you want a
but you can
divorce?
love people from afar too.
Yeah, but what made you? I'm saying, what made you? I
Divorce.
I, I can't
It's a
like you anymore though. Maybe I do.
right. There's a difference.
Yeah,
There's love and there's light.
something. Yeah,
Because I say to
yeah.
you guys when y'all talk about I can't stand you, I was like, but do you love me? you you don't have to always like
Yeah,
me.
that is a good topic, and I
Hmm.
don't know that of anybody that
Well,
off the top of my head that
we
I could
putting it
think
out
of.
there. No, we don't have to know them. If you're
No,
a
no, no. I
person
was
that
just
want to
thinking
share
if we
that
had
story,
anybody. Yeah,
yeah, if you're a person out there that's sharing that story, we would love to have that conversation. Because I'm just curious.
I am
I'm
too because
curious,
that was a
and that could
topic.
help somebody too. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? But you know what? I'm a feel good kind of girl. So I like to love. I love
Love.
stories, and
Yeah.
I love movies that are feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like they cheating on me, they stalking me, they this, that. I don't like that. I just don't like it. It's too much realism to that, right? But at the same time, I believe in love.
Right.
I believe in love. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in marriage. I believe in you treat people the way you want to
You
be
want to be
treated.
treated.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you still don't get that. So then that's where you
You got to
protect
step
your
back.
peace
You have to. Oh my
because
goodness. You
because you
have
think
to.
about when you think about marriages of people that like a lot of traumas happen in their marriage. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
watch it. And you do, and you sit there and you go, I'd love to have a conversation with them because they got to be strong in some sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To because it's not always accepting it when things are happening. When people say they just accept it, it's not about acceptance.
Yeah, and what does that mean when you say accept it though? I'm okay. I
Like
don't
you're
like
okay
it,
with it.
but
Yeah. Like
I'm not okay with it. I'm just
right.
accepting it because I don't want confrontation because
Hmm.
I don't know what it
Or
means. I don't know what it means when you say
right.
you accept it for somebody because if I accept I'll say for myself, if I accept it, I'm okay with it. Or I don't want to ruffle any feathers, so I'm going with it. I don't want to do that because I'm not being fair
I'm
to myself.
right. Right. Personal. I have personal experience with
Yeah,
that
I'm not
also.
being fair to
But that's
myself.
where, again, it comes to I am responsible for my happiness and
Right.
I protect my peace.
Right.
And so, what that looks like to somebody else might look like, oh, they just do whatever they want to do.
Hmm.
And, she ain't going nowhere type of thing.
But and some people are in a
Right.
relationship and they like it like that though.
And some people do. Right. And it's not about even like, it's about what are you doing for you?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I lack
Definitely,
nothing.
we definitely got to take care of self
Absolutely.
first.
I lack
Um,
I lack nothing.
it's funny you had just said something, and the other day I said you said we have to treat people. You said we have to treat people how we want to be treated, and that is so true. A couple of weeks ago, I called one of my friends and I said that, hey, good morning. I want you to do better, so I'm doing better, and I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling and saying good morning. And my realization was, you're not getting it back. You're not getting it back. So stop trying to pull it out of the person
Right.
and take
You
care of
still
you.
do what you got to do.
It's a
You know what
very
I'm saying?
hurtful
Cuz it's
thing.
for you.
Yeah, it's a hurtful thing, and
And
I tried.
but I learned that the only person you can change is you.
That's it.
And when you believe that,
Mm-hmm.
you just do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So if they respond in the way that you want them to, that's good. But if they don't, that's good also. You know why? Because you did the right thing that you were going to
Yeah.
do for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way
They're
I think
showing you who
about it.
they are at that point.
Yeah, and I don't put a lot of energy into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I really don't. You know, I was talking to somebody recently, and I'm that person that if I haven't talked to you, if I'm thinking about you, I'll call you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's months, years, or whatever in between. I'll call out the blue and just say hi. That's because that's what I am. That's what I do, right? And I did this the other day, and the person answered the phone, and she says, "I love you." She said, "Because you don't falter."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "No matter if I don't call you, or I don't talk to you, or whatever, this, that, and other, you will still call." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm not expecting you to, because then that means you're doing something and expecting something in return.
Right.
I don't do things
Right.
to always expect something in
Yeah.
return. And it depends if that person, say, I don't know, say I gave you something and you smacked it out my hand, then I'll get offended. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But if I give you something and you don't say thank you, or you don't,
Give you something back.
yeah, give me something back. I, I
It's
didn't give
okay.
it to you for that
It's
reason.
okay. Well,
It's
I think you
okay.
should say thank you though.
You should. I mean, out of common
You
courtesy,
should
right?
say thank you.
And respect, or not
Yeah.
respect, out of common
I see what you're saying.
courtesy
You're just not holding
and
on for that.
good
You're not
manners,
doing it to.
right? But
Yeah.
that's where you protect your peace.
Yeah.
Because if not, you get all bent out of shape
Oh,
and
definitely.
start telling somebody, I did this for so and so and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and
Well, that wasn't the purpose.
that's
It
not
shouldn't have
the
been your
purpose.
purpose, though. It shouldn't have
Exactly.
been your purpose.
Exactly.
But I think we have to keep that same energy in relationships, and
Period.
that's what we have to remember. You
In
have
all
to protect your
relationships.
peace. You have to take care of you first.
Yes.
And because I'm married to you, doesn't mean I have to be on the same page with you all the time either.
And
I
you're
think the
not, because we're
communication,
individuals.
yeah, and the communication has to be there. I'm so big on communication because
I'm
if
gonna
you're
say
talking
though,
to me and
right,
you're being communication and honesty,
right, honesty too. Yeah, that
you got to be
that right there.
communicating honesty.
I'm not a good communicator when it comes to relationships in that in my marriage type of thing, right? Um, yeah, I know I'm not.
When you say that, you mean that you don't communicate, or you just whatever the conversation is, you just don't want to touch it. Just let it
Well,
pass. When you say, or
no,
you just
I
don't.
think it's
You
a
just
I
don't.
think it's a I want to say a defense mechanism for lack of a better phrase,
Okay.
because I'm not always in a defense mode. Don't get me wrong,
Okay.
right? So I'm saying that for lack of a better phrase. But what I mean is protecting my peace, or not even something good. Sometimes I don't communicate it well. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
To a certain extent, right? Um, I am quiet when it comes to that, and I think I am even with people. I'm getting better with communicating my feelings about things, but at the same time, I protect my feelings.
Yeah.
And it's not always good because when sometimes it festers, whatever it is, good or bad, and even if it's good, why not share that, right? But sometimes how that person may respond, or you have a notion of how that person may respond. That person may not respond to you in the way that you're expecting to keep that happiness of it. Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
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 So
But it works for you, and that's all that matters.
right, goes back to,
It
like I
works for
said,
you.
I'm responsible for my happiness. I'm gonna keep
Yes.
saying it. I'm responsible for my happiness, and I protect my peace.
Yeah. No, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I think this is a evolving conversation because it's more to it when it's talking about marriage, divorce, relationships. So we'll touch upon it more later
Yeah.
as we come to the end of our
If
show.
if I'm listen, my sister here is a good catch.
Listen,
And it's just, if you are adventurous, like listen, if you are adventurous and
you communicate well and you're honest.
there you go. Keep going. But one of the things I learned, and then I'll stop. When doing a list, make a list of the characteristics or the person that you want for you, right? But when you look at that list, how much of you
Are
is
you
on
on
that?
that
Yeah,
list?
yeah.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
part right there. You gotta
My
look
sister
in the
just threw
mirror.
me out there, but it's
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Love her to death.
Yes.
But we are coming to the end of our show. Like, share, subscribe to our YouTube page. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and we're going to get better at posting more also. So more to come from Tea and
Yeah.
Cornbread with
Give
Shawne
us
and
your
Tracy.
comments on this. I hope people,
Yes, this conversation
give
is
us
going to evolve
yeah,
because
give us your comments on this
yeah,
because, we are no experts.
at all.
We just have experience
Some,
and
some,
we have some experience.
some,
Exactly. We're
little.
not experts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I want to know
I
more
think this
about
was a
it.
good conversation. I
Yeah.
think this was a good starter, like I said, to
Yeah.
keep talking about. So,
Yeah.
and we have lots more to learn because
But you know what? I love love.
I love love too. The right doggone person.
Well,
Mm.
I love love. Put it that way. Put it that way because you don't know who's right or who's not for you. And you got to be that right person for that person. And I don't.
I thought she said she was stopping.
I did say that. All right. Like, share. Like, share, and comment. We want this conversation. We want this conversation to keep going.
We do.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you,
you.
y'all.
We appreciate you for
Yes,
listening.
yes. Don't forget to share.
Have
Have
a
a
good
great
day.
day.